Hey Lunarticks, I hope these readings are finding you right on time, and these readings are for anyone who identifies as a Libra at this time, or anyone who is drawn to or particularly interested in a Libra energy or the Libra energy for some reason at this time. Maybe it's your sun, moon, rising, Venus, Mars, or any other placement, or maybe there is someone in your life you're interested in who's a Libra. Maybe you just want to call that energy into your life. Whatever the case is, we are going to do 2 readings for you today, Libras. I was unable to get to your November reading, so at this point I just decided to do 2 December readings for you. I had to dedicate a significant portion of time to centering, self-care, and Libras, I imagine that you're doing much the same at this time. I hope that most of you are anyway. I started one reading for you already, Libras, and that's happened to me with quite a few videos lately. Mercury retrograde is having its way with my tech, at least, as usual, and usually many other things, but when I went to shuffle and meditate with the deck and sort of try to get in touch with the Libra energy, it was so heavy and uncomfortable and honestly downright icky that I had to recenter and, revisit how thick my boundaries were going into the reading with you. So that makes me want to apologize for not getting a November reading up, because I know that it has been difficult. But I think you are, a lot of you, at a point where you're moving out of that, moving away from that now. We had the Devil in reverse on the bottom of the deck. So a lot of you have been visiting, working with shadow aspects of yourself. Your situation. I know that a lot of you are trying to master this situation through mastering your mental realm. You're needing to, or you are needing to, and you're realizing, you're seeing that you need to shift your perspective and your perception of the situation and view this ending as a new beginning, and see or focus on what you've gained from the situation you're coming out of, rather than focusing on what you had lost so much. And you are correct. In the first reading, we found out for you that you are correct in thinking that doing so will make you feel like your home and family life is more comfortable and stable. So much of it at this time is your perception and perspective of what's going on with you. Sorry you can't really see much of the cards, Libras, but I will show them to you. You have the Seven of Swords representing you in its reverse position, though. And as I said, I think that's you addressing some shadow aspects of yourself at this time, and the situation you were in, or have been in. You have the Ten of Cups in reverse in your subconscious. And we're going to take a look back. We're going to take a look back at what led us here in November. Yeah, a split. And then the second reading was supposed to narrow the focus down to your love life. I'm not sure if I said that yet, Libras, but it looks like this first reading is also talking about, for some, a relationship that came to an end, but for others, it's a partnership of another type. It doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic connection. So perhaps the second reading in that case will be just a separate message entirely. It doesn't, both aren't necessarily for everyone, of course. And some forgiveness has been found recently around the time of the full moon in Gemini. Whatever this split, this partnership, this ending to a partnership, this severance of a bond, this whatever this split was that happened, that I think for a lot of you Libras made you feel like love wasn't understood. So I get the feeling that two people weren't communicating clearly, and if it was a romantic partnership, it was probably that you were giving and receiving love differently. But this that you've been dealing with throughout the beginning of November, again, some forgiveness was found around that full moon in Gemini, or as you were entering its energy. So maybe a few days before. Time being fluid, of course, this is all just sort of roundabout, I guess you would say, especially with so many different querents at one time. Some of you are suspicious of someone that's still around you. And that's why you feel like you have a decision that you have to make, that you are afraid of making here in the near future position. You are of two minds about this. Some of you are feeling like you can't trust your intuition, you can't trust your emotional insight into this situation or about this person. For those of you who are feeling suspicious about someone who is still around you, who is still present, maybe a bond and a trust and a closeness was broken, severed, damaged during the first part of November. But for some of you, you found that forgiveness and you haven't completely completely cut ties with this person, or completely even kicked them out of the house if you do share a family and a home together. And in that case, here in your subconscious, we're seeing that you think there may be a wolf in sheep's clothing very close to you, possibly in your home. Or for some of you, for others, it's just speaking of the fact that, you feel like you have an unhappy home in some way, or just are lacking shared fulfillment. Your life feels a little loveless post breakup for some. Maybe you're still having disputes for some. Significant plans that you made regarding within that commitment that has been damaged or broken entirely recently, being called off, that may be on some of your minds. And so, you know, I see the Seven of Swords energy that's covering you as one or both of you working on your shadow aspects. I mean, this is certainly that you're certainly in the energy of someone who has found someone out. But you could be, you know, looking at what you found out about this person, the truth that you've gotten a hold of, and looking at it from a perspective of, you know, how can you relate? What are your own shadow aspects? Maybe you can relate. Maybe you've been in a similar position, betrayed someone in a similar way to how you feel someone has done you recently, for some. In any case, the Seven of Swords in reverse there is definitely saying to me that for those of you who have gone through a split or are going through a split currently and feel this lack of fulfillment and happiness in your home because of it, even though it doesn't look like it right now, you have been given a gift. And the fact that I see the forgiveness there in the recent past, right around that full moon in Gemini, makes me think that a lot of you, you know, have done the work to realize that on your own. I think you've found that you have had no choice but to engage in a lot of self-love and self-care work throughout the month, along with any shadow work you may be doing. So then I see 3 2s. 222 may be particularly significant to you this month. There's also, I also see Sagittarius energy in the recent past with the Temperance card there too, which could be pointing to Mercury having gone retrograde in Sagittarius, that energy taking its toll, adding to this mix. Jupiter being in Sagittarius. That happened at the beginning of the month, right? And then we also have things, a lot of Sag activity coming up. Definitely in December as well, which we may end up touching on. We'll see how both of these play out, but I do think that because you are just feeling fragile, and either like you, because of finding something out recently, probably finding someone out, feeling the need to forgive, whether you found it yet or not, feeling like a bond is broken, whether the split has technically completed yet or not. In any case, it leaves you feeling fragile, and it's a weakness. It's an obstacle to overcome. That's the position that the card's in. It's your emotions are imbalanced in one way or the other. Either you're overflowing with emotions, overwhelmed, or you've decided at this point that you need to be numb to get through your day, your week, your month, your plans to move forward. You need to cut yourself off from those feelings. So some of you have gone one way or the other in that respect, and that's a lot of why it's hard for you to make that decision. Why it's a fear of yours that you know you have this decision coming up. For some of you, like, it is about this person that you're suspicious of, that that's still close, that's still near. You're finding ways and reasons to stall, successfully so. I think that's working out. Some of you, a lot of you. You have a lot on your plate, and so you're distracted. So for a good many of you, Libras, yes. For a lot of you, you're leaning into to distracting yourself, focusing on other things, and it's more so that you've numbed yourself, or just at least closed yourself off from those feelings in some way at this time. And yes, as I think I did say, that you may think that you can't really make a clear decision about this person, but getting back in touch with those emotions to some extent may be what allows you to make the best decision, to see the way forward, so that it's not so scary. So a lot of you you have a lot on your plate. You're juggling a lot of things. You're busy. You're allowing that to distract you. It's necessary, and it is helpful. Then you have the Tower reversed, and what you're hoping for. I think a lot of you are hoping to rebuild with someone. Again, not necessarily a romantic relationship. While others, those of you who are dealing with a Scorpio energy, in particular Libras, I think that I think I see that you are more, you have a weakness for them still. You have forgiven them probably in some way, or know that you will, and but at the same time, you're hoping for them to exit, to leave, or not to return. You need time away. But that's just for those of you who are dealing with a Scorpio in particular. For others, I think you're hoping to rebuild. You're hoping to rebuild. A lot of you, I'm sorry to say, are in denial about the fact that this needs to fall apart. This person that you feel suspicious of, you have reason not to trust them. You can't move forward the way things are. You at least need time apart, right? And you're trying to rebuild in the wrong way. You're sort of trying to go backwards instead of move through and forward. And I do see the message here that you're just trying to, this rebuilding that you're hoping for is you just trying to rush what you want to happen, which communicates to me that there is a chance for this to come back together, but you can't rush ahead to the point of rebuilding with this person. You would have to, as I said, take some time, and that's the real way through this. Through and forward, rather than trying to go backwards. If it's an earth sign rather than a Scorpio, if it's an earth sign that you've had this split with, I do see a King of Pentacles in your near future. So that's sometime throughout the month, likely. I do see this mature, likely masculine, earth energy, family man, a grounded, practical energy in your near future. Let's get one clarifier on that. Now, this could be an energy that you're coming to embody. This could be a new energy entirely entering your life, or it could fall in line with what we've been talking about if it's an earth sign, and there could be some communication with them. Some of you that are dealing with a Scorpio, they're a weakness of yours, and you're hoping for some communication with them soon. And I may be saying to you instead, I see an earth, strong masculine earth sign energy showing up in the near future. And perhaps a message of passion from them. Some of you, you know, with this decision and your fears, do have a couple of different people that you're dealing with specifically, with the Two of Cups reversed in the beginning of the month. And then by about the end of December, possibly moving into January, we have the Five of Pentacles reverse, denoting gain, not needing support. Possibly, that looks like it's a message. Honestly, I feel like that's a message about your financial world. You got the Queen of Pentacles then as a clarifier. Now, I will say, with the Queen and the King of Pentacles showing up, that does make me think that there is a divine partnership here, especially with 222 also showing up. Oh, there's 4 twos here. You have the Two of Cups in reverse in November, the Two of Pentacles in the spread as your strength. And I do think that that's what's happening here. Monetarily, you're doing well, Libras, while this emotional turmoil is happening. So for some of you, we were talking about a split from a career-related partnership, leaving a job. And in your new position, you're doing really well, but it was hard and emotional for you to leave whatever you were doing or whomever you were with. But then you also have the Two of Swords. That was in your fears, that decision. And on the bottom of the deck, representing January 2019 for us, we have the Two of Wands reversed. Making me think that I don't think that this partnership comes back together, if that's what you're hoping for. I don't think you find yourself, if you're single now, I don't think you find yourself in one by then. And above all else, though, mainly it makes me think that, you know, while you may be dealing with shadow aspects and healing still, and certainly moving forward, you're still just not quite ready to make plans for your future, to reframe or repaint that picture of your future, post breakup or post split of whatever kind has happened here. You're just still not ready yet. To me, that's perfectly understandable. It hasn't been that long. Whatever is making you feel fragile, it looks like you have a lot of healing to do, and this decision that you're feeling like needs made is enough of an extra task for you to take on at a time like that. But it does look like financially you're doing really well. You're able to balance things right now, but in the near future, you've got your possibly, for those of you who don't have an earth sign in your life, that for those of you who you yourselves are moving into that King of Pentacles energy in the near future, a message comes in, it looks like, regarding that, and it puts you in a place where you have your physical, material, probably financial world and realm area of your life mastered, covered, ready for the holidays and gift giving season, if that's what you're into, and then more gain by the end of the month, and clarified with the Queen of Pentacles energy. So I think you're still looking for that mastery over your mental realm, certainly over your emotional realm at this time. But as far as your finances and probably finances, but certainly your 3D earthly material world and realm, it looks like you're in a great space. And that is what, as I said, is supporting you, it seems. And then we'll just get one piece of advice from the Rider-Waite, the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot deck here. The other deck is the Deviant Moon Tarot. I'll have information about all of the decks that we use in both readings in the description of the video. Okay. You have two pieces of advice then. The Strength card and the Ace of Pentacles. Focus on the fact that that's a realm that you are currently mastering. Maybe some of you want to focus on a business idea or your own business, forming your own business at this time. Pay attention to the earthly opportunities that you're being offered. Those are gifts that you're being given at this time to balance out the weight of what I felt that you've been feeling, and called to find the strength within yourself. And I think that that's what a lot of you think that you're doing, I do the same thing. I almost have to talk through this to get it out. But I think that because I do the same thing, I think that a lot of you are feeling like you are showing strength by cutting yourself off from your emotions so that you can move forward. And that is how you're probably generating a lot of this material wealth and abundance at this time. But we're reminded here with this card that and it's an advice card. This is what the purpose of pulling it. We're reminded here with this card that true strength is gentle. True strength is exhibiting in every way unconditional love. And if it's for yourself at this time, then unconditional love for your mind, body, and spirit. And that includes your emotional body. And I think, spirit, source, whatever grounds you here is saying in this advice, you're being offered this material wealth and abundance and security at this time. You're being given that gift so that you can be in a space, so that you can afford, literally, to show yourself that unconditional love that we're describing. And that's what you need to do because you are still working toward mastering other areas at this time. Just feeling imbalanced, as any of us would after the breaking of a close bond and trust of some sort, the realization of a betrayal for most of you of some sort. So I think that finishes this up for us, Libras. And like I said, for those of you who, we'll move on now to that second reading, to the love reading. And like I said, for those of you who resonated with this one as a love reading, maybe this is a separate message about the same situation. Maybe it's a separate message about a different situation that you would consider part of your love life. Or maybe both won't apply. For others of you who could take that one as a partnership about something else, then this is the reading that is intended to narrow the focus down to your love life. Okay, so that love reading now. We will start with the Radiant Rider-Waite for this one. If I didn't tell you that already, Libras. Libra's love life during December 2018. The High Priestess. For some of you, there is an earth energy. For those of you who are dealing with a Taurus, I think you're completely consumed by the matter. But otherwise, actually, I'm getting that that some of you are completely consumed by a Pisces energy as well. But otherwise, outside of that, possibly in tandem with that, I think a lot of Libras, most Libras, are using their intuition regarding their love life at this time. Very much in touch with your intuition in maybe a deeper way than you've ever have been, because of whatever connection you've either just come out of or are moving into or are just a part of at this time. It looks like, though, whether in or out of a partnership with someone, it does look like you are fighting with that person. Whether it's someone, it looks like it's someone that you either just came out of something with, or someone who you're in a partnership with, but it's not going so hot at the second. Let's see where that's headed. The Emperor. Divine masculine energy in your near future, Libras. Possibly in Aries. Possibly. Can be speaking to a father of your children, your own father, influencing your love life in some way in the near future. Fatherhood. You, for some, possibly, we'll see what else comes up for us, but for some Libra males, you could be finding in the near future that though you're fighting with this individual, they're also about to make you a father. What's on your mind when your ego is quiet is, they are fond memories with, I'm sorry about this music level, that almost all of them can be at a 6, but then there's a couple of them that it's just way too loud if you don't turn it down to a 5, and I don't catch it sometimes. I'm sorry, Libras. Regardless of the fact that some of you, I was going to say, are fighting for someone, and when your ego is quiet and your crowning thoughts, you do have the 6 of Cups. So whether you're fighting with this person or for this person or not, Libras, you're experiencing some fond memories for whomever you're interested in currently. Some fond memories with. Of. A lot of you are dealing with a situation where, regardless of what sign it is, a lot of you are dealing with a situation where you recently found out a truth regarding this person that you do think of fondly still. Maybe that's led to the fights that you're having with them currently. Or maybe for some of you, the truth that you realized about them is how you feel about them. And so you are fighting for them. I think those of you who have realized the truth recently that this is your person, this is the one for you, I think it's a Taurus or a Pisces, and you're fighting for that person. Others of you, though, have realized an unpleasant truth about this person that you do think of fondly, and you've been fighting with them. And I'm not sure that they even know that you know. I don't think you've revealed that you know. And in the near future, one of you, maybe both of you, at least one of you, is letting your pride get in the way of having seen this situation resolved. Some of you do have an Aries energy entering into your near future, but you're still thinking about a Leo. Or you just still aren't in the right frame of mind in general, because you're just not feeling happy without this other person. Some of you, those of you that are fighting for someone currently, fighting for instead of with someone currently that you've recently realized how deep your feelings are for them. For those of you, I do think that there may be something that makes you jealous coming in the near future. You may know exactly who and what I'm talking about. Maybe that's been going on. But it looks like you're showing them a side of you that can be, especially for masculines, that can be a divine partner, especially a divine masculine partner, that can be that's worthy of being an emperor, rather than showing that jealous side. You don't want to show too prideful of an energy either. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do. Be yourself. Do what you do. But what I mean to say is I don't want to see. I definitely see pride being an issue for couples or potential couples in the near future. With the Sun card in reverse, you know, I often get that feeling that I'm looking at jealousy or pride, or maybe someone here is valuing material things over like an emotional connection as far as choosing partners. That's just for a few. That's really specific for just a few, but yeah, there is this possible issue with ego in the near future. Ego, pride, or someone else's jealousy with the Sun in reverse nearby. And you may be well aware of it. The advice here is to pay attention to what you're being offered, rather than stubbornly focusing on what you can't have. That's for those of you who are wanting something that you've already had and lost. Yeah, I see a lot of pride in this picture with the Five of Swords is right in the center of the reading. You know, be careful if you're... What I'm seeing here is some have already lost somebody in the root of the situation, and then they're realizing now how they really feel about that person, and they're fighting to get them back. And they may be fighting with an Aries or another divine masculine emperor energy that's showing up here, and they're not going to get what they want. And some people haven't gone through that yet. Some of you are having fights now where you're letting your pride win, and no one else is winning. Pride is winning because you're not winning and they're not winning. And some of you, you know, may be fighting for truth, but I think that's those of you who are fighting for the person you've realized you care about. Others of you are, you know, fighting to hide or try to find a truth, yes. Again, you know, maybe because you found out something that this person did that really hurt you. But be careful about pride being the only winner in the fights that you're having currently, because you just may not have yet come to the place where these other Libras are at, where they've realized how they feel about this person, and they wish, you know, pride hadn't won, probably. Because, yeah, for those of you who, you know, I definitely see loss in the root of the situation. And 2 5s, 55 may be particularly significant at this time. I mean, it certainly speaks to there being a struggle in your love life. But I do see for most that you are in touch with your intuition. You see and know this truth even if you're not sharing it. And for most Libras across the board, continuing this pointless battle that you're in right now is discouraged. The advice here is to focus on the opportunity you're being offered rather than what you cannot have. And I think that goes both ways, regardless of whether you're fighting with or for someone. I mean, the piece of advice here is that you've lost, and it's time to look at what you do still have. For those of you who have found out that someone has betrayed you and you're just still fighting with this person because you want these fond memories back, that's gone. You can't have that time before you found this out. You can't unknow this truth in any way. I don't mean to be harsh. I'm sorry. It sounds like I'm starting to rush a little bit, I think. I'm sorry. But that is definitely gone. I mean, you're never going to get the feelings and the mindset that you had back before you realized this truth. You're not going to unknow it. And I think a lot of you, I'm saying it like that because a lot of you are fighting with them, and that's your way of holding on, rather than looking at all the opportunities and paths and options and choices that are in front of you now that have opened up. As we saw in the first reading, it may be that those choices scare you. Those paths scare you because, you know, you built your life around this other person. For some of you, it's that heavy. The Three of Wands in reverse is your other piece of advice. Some of you are still fighting in the beginning of next year. I'm sorry, but that's just what I see. And I see 3 5s now. The Five of Wands is here with us now too. So 555 may be particularly significant. And it looks like it looks, for some of you, it looks like come the end of the month, beginning of next year, you are able to tame your desire or need to keep this battle up. I think you're able to tame yourself in that way. But then sometime in January, the ego drama begins again, or ego drama of some type begins if this battle doesn't begin again. I want just a couple of clarifiers. One on the Emperor and one on that piece of advice, the Three of Wands in reverse. Which speaks to me of not feeling confident, not feeling established. I'm not sure, Libras. For some of you, the reason that you're not feeling confident is because you're either not entirely sure about the difference between your feelings and emotions or someone else's. Maybe that's the question that you need to be sure to ask. Your feelings for this person. Is it a rush of hormones and emotions, or is it a deeper, more well thought out feeling that you've developed over time? Or maybe you're asking those questions about the way that someone feels about you. Maybe you're asking the question of what is honest affection? Have they shown it to you? Have you shown it to one another? That could be why you're not feeling confident in the situation, as best as I can see. The Hanged Man, patience and perspective, is showing up as a clarifier on the Emperor. Pisces energy again. So, for females who are fighting for a Pisces energy that they're consumed by, I think this person may in the near future show you, as I was talking about earlier, a side of them that could be your divine masculine counterpart, worthy of being one's emperor, right? Whether or not that's still an option in your mind or not by the time that they do. But that's just for some focused on a Pisces energy in particular. Patience and perspective are what's noted on these. And it makes me think of, being suspended in between two things, having a fresh perspective, appearing to be martyred, but actually being very much at peace and serene. Yeah, female Libras, a lot of you are leaving someone hanging in the near future. There is a divine masculine or someone who wants to be yours that is left waiting. And I do think that he may make himself seem like he's in a worse position than he's really in. Or he may let you know that he's perfectly happy waiting. That's just for some. Not necessarily a Pisces energy, but just a presence. Maybe that Aries. Like I said, some of you will be thinking about a Leo. Others are just not in the right mindset, not happy because you're dealing with this fond memories of someone else, a betrayal from someone else, fighting with someone else, trying to get yourself to focus on the opportunities you're being offered. And for those of you who are finding out that you're a father, or finding that you're informing someone that they're going to be a father, someone in that situation is acting like they're less happy about it than they are. They're appearing to be martyred. They're showing the side of them that maybe is scared or panicked or upset, but they're happier than they seem, than they're letting on. And I think you know it. But again, that's just for some. There's some specific messages coming through here. Okay, Libras, I am going to leave your love life messages at that, though. I do think that gives you, I hope that gives you something that you didn't come to the reading with. I'm a little bit stumped on this last one here, but I hope that the messages came through for you. I hope they gave you something that you didn't have when you came to the reading, helped in some way, gave some kind of insight. Thank you so much just for checking them out. And thank you as well for liking and subscribing and sharing. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, for your messages, your emails, your comments. I really do love to hear how the messages resonated with you, if they did, and all other interaction with me in the channel. It's so appreciated. And for your purchases and your donations, I am truly grateful for each and every one of our energy exchanges here. If you would like a private reading with me, just scroll down to the description. You can check out all of your options there. Thank you for your interest in the free personal readings. Still on a break from those, yes, but I will be returning in the first half of next year for sure. And as I said, in the meantime, check out the private reading options below, or just send me an email to LunarticksTarot@gmail.com, and I'm happy to talk to you about your options, and we can talk about it that way as well. So thank you again. I love you very much. I hope you make very wise choices moving forward, Libra, and do show yourself that unconditional love that we were talking about, mind, body, and spirit, including your emotional body. Take care, and I will post another tarot fix for you as soon as I can.